No guns outside the president's palace. Ivar knows that there's no security outside the prime minister's office, which we saw the Senate Square. This is one reason, but one is that we have no private schools in Finland. All schools in Finland are public. We have, of course, the Swedish-speaking schools by law. There's English school, there's Russian school, there's German school since many, many years, French school, international school, but they are all free of charge. It's compulsory to go in school 9 years, and those first 9 years you get your books, your teaching, and a free school lunch as well. It's a lunch, it's a proper meal. For the last 3 years in what we call the gymnasium, either you can go to skill teaching schools, become a plumber or hairdresser or nurse, or then you can study 3 more years and enter the university, and the university is also free. But there you pay for your books and your living and eating and so on. But the teaching is free, and it's free for everybody within the European Union and the European Economical Area, including Norway and Switzerland. So they don't pay anything. People coming from the outside pay, and it depends on the school. It can be 1,500 euros per semester. It can be up to 15,000 euros per semester. And the ones who complain the most about this system, which we haven't had it for many years, 2-3 years perhaps, the ones who complain the most are the teachers, because they say Finland is a small country, we need all brains we can get. So we should actually invite more foreigners to come to Finland to study because of the change. And besides, Finland is losing people all the time. We have the lowest birth rate in Europe now. So these are one of the reasons. One is also that teachers are very highly educated. They have to have a master's degree in the subject they are teaching. Many teachers have 2 actually in pedagogics as well. And we are also the most literate nation in the world. 99% of all Finns can read. And this is actually a preludium to your visit to Oodi, which I hope you have time to go and see the library. Because reading, we have always known in Finland, during all the years of oppression, that you can never be truly free if you cannot read. If you cannot read, you believe whatever you are told, whatever, by whoever. Only if you can read can you make up your own mind and your own opinions. So we have always respected being able to read. That's why we've had libraries many years. We have a library law saying that everybody has to have access to a free library. And we do. We also one of the most library users. We do use our library, but the Oodi where we are ending today, it's much more than a library. It's also a makerspace. They have PCs, they have 3D printers, they have laser cutters, they have poster printers, button printers, sewing machine, embroidery machines, and books. We are now coming close to the stadium. You already perhaps glimpsed the stadium tower. The Olympics in 1940 were first meant to be in Tokyo. Then there was the Chinese-Japanese War, and they were moved to Helsinki. But then the 1940 Olympics were cancelled because of the Second World War. And we only had the Olympics in 1952. But this building is really, really pure functional style. I think this is the most functional style building we have in Helsinki. So in 1952, you can imagine 7 years after the war was over in Europe, we had the Olympic Games here in Helsinki. You know, the little Finland that had remained independent, speaking a language nobody understands far up in the north. We really had to give a fight to have the Olympic Committee to say yes. But one of the reasons was Paavo Nurmi, he was so well known. And the other one was that everything was built already, because we were supposed to have the Olympics already 1940. So the venues were here. This stadium was already there, and it was not destroyed in the war. And the stadium tower, which you just saw, this is until now, so far for a few more months, it's the tallest building in Helsinki, 72 meters. And the architects were very clever. When they started building the stadium, they started with the tower, which they wanted to have. And they said that by the time we are ready with the stadium, there will be no money for the tower. And they were totally correct. Money was run out, but they had to finish with someone in the stadium. And here is now our third hero, statue of Paavo Nurmi on your left hand side. Some of my friends say that this is not a still living person who knows who Paavo Nurmi is, but actually there are many. If I would have 10 Indian groups, 9 of them want to see his statue, because India, they will know him very well. And he got Olympic medals in 3 Olympic Games, the first ones in 1920. So you understand that he's a Finnish hero because Finland was 3 years old. We had been 3 years independent when the Olympics in Antwerp were held in 1920, and we got the gold medal. So now you understand when I say that Sibelius composed us to the world map, Paavo Nurmi ran us to the world map, and Marshal Mannerheim kept us on the world map. The Olympic Games, everybody's eyes were on Finland. We got chewing gum here. We started doing chewing gum. Our most popular chewing gum is still called Yankee for its American influences. And if you have been drinking Lonkero, Ivar, I'm sure, knows what gin long drink is. It's not so strong. It's same strength as beer, but it's made of gin and grape lemonade. So it's not a very strong drink, which was developed for the Olympic Games, because by that time we only had vodka and corn and brandy here. So it was thought that the guests coming to the Olympic Games must have something a little bit weaker to drink, and that's where Lonkero came from. We Finns call it Lonkero. And the second really important meeting was or event in Helsinki was the 1975 Conference of European Safety and Security, which was initiated by our president, Mr. Kekkonen, I was mentioning. You know, after the war, the two sides of Europe could not agree on anything. They could not even agree on where to disagree. On our left-hand side is our opera, National Opera and Ballet, this white building here. They could not even agree on where to disagree. So our president suggested we meet in Helsinki, in the neutral Helsinki, between East and West, and discuss something that they can discuss. And invited them to discuss a totally new topic and issue that had not been mentioned ever. And it was human rights. The human movement in the new Europe, that was basically the issue and the agenda of the meeting. After some hesitation, we got all European heads of states here, all except Mr. Hoxha from Albania, and the American president and the Canadian prime minister. They were all here, and in the Finlandia Hall, we are now on Mannerheim Street. Finlandia Hall is coming soon on our left-hand side. In this Finlandia Hall, the Helsinki Agreement was made. And I've checked and I've heard, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that this is God's honest truth, that all work that's done in human rights field in the world started here with the Helsinki Agreement. I had a group of assistants from the American Senate, the former administration here, a few years ago, and they made a pilgrimage to the Finlandia Hall. That was the only place. They were invited actually for Finnish government doing something else, but they wanted me to take them to the Finlandia Hall because they wanted with their own eyes see the building where the Helsinki paper was signed, as they told me that all work that the United States does in the field of human rights is built on the Helsinki paper. So it's actually much more meaningful than many of us Finns realize. And now Finland is the EU chairman. We are members of the EU. Member of the EU, as you I'm sure know, and from July 1st until December last, Helsinki is the chairman. So we had a lot of high delegations here, and everybody was breathing less heavily for a Friday yesterday, because Friday's Mannerheim Street has been closed because of this delegation, on and off and on and off. So we thought, oh, finally a normal Friday. Were you in the city yesterday? No, you were not, because there was an enormous demonstration, climate demonstration, on the Parliament stairs. Yeah, and Mannerheim Street was closed again yesterday, because the demonstrants were just spilling onto the street. Now we are heading south on Mannerheim Street. On the west side, left-hand side, you can see a glimpse of the Finlandia Hall. You will see it better if you go to the library. This is Alvar Aalto's most well-known work in Helsinki, in the park here, the Finlandia Hall. You can again see the white Carrara marble. He loves Carrara marble. That doesn't really agree with our climate, but that's there, the Finlandia Hall, conference hall. And on our right-hand side is the National Museum. And you can already now tell that it's typical National Romantic style, Jugend and National Romantic style, because the architects wanted to show that Finns are strong as granite and still modern people following the modern rules and so on. And the fashion of Europe. Parliament House coming up on your right-hand side. The green cube on your left-hand side, I already mentioned that green is the color of the copper roofs of Helsinki. So on our left-hand side, the music center houses 2 orchestras and the Sibelius Academy, which is our musical university in Helsinki. And big concert hall, and we can see the Parliament building a little bit better when we are parking. And now you can see the backside of the Finlandia Hall. You can see the stadium tower in front, and here is our brand new library. It's opened last December, and their target was to have 2.5 million visitors a year. After 8 months, it had been visited by 2 million people. 2 million. Helsinki is 600,000, so you can imagine how big it is. And here we are getting off. We have some time, so we'll go on the other side of the library, and I'll do you have program after this, Ivar? No. So I'll give you a little bit of explanation on the library, because it's a must. You must see it. You have no choice. If you don't go and see it, I'll never talk to you. I promise. And we are coming now to the very heart of Helsinki. The yellow brick building in front of us is the main post office. Of course, there's not much mail nowadays, but it's still the main post office. There's even a little post office there. And coming up on our left-hand side is the railway station. And it gives you an idea of the location of Finland. If I tell you that to travel from here, you remember 3.5 hours to St. Petersburg and 8 hours to Lapland, to the Arctic Circle. As we are this close to St. Petersburg, this was the reason why Helsinki was made capital by the emperor. And we already met on the main entrance, and we are now turning towards the left entrance and leave Riku here and take a short walk to the library. What a wonderful day it is.
Jos on kerran 29 kertaa.
Joo, mutta kyllä nyt oli 25 tavallisia, sitten niitä Baltian reissuja vissiin menettiin. Plus kaikki muut lähellä. Pärjään kaikkien jormien, kumpikin ei jormien kanssa. Se on kuulemma sama.